Drop.
Well, good evening. I'm Travis for the people. Welcome to our show. Travis, I'm your host. And before we talk about anything else, I just want you to say thank you for being here. Whether you click on this out of curiosity, whether you just want to share it with somebody or someone shared it with you, you just need something really today. I believe you are here for a reason, and we are here to talk about and implement the process of real change, real solution, and real result. Welcome to the show. We are going to talk about today about the Lieutenant Pamela Everett and about that debacle that happened on April the 29th, 2026 concerning her commencement um, invitation to South Carolina State University, which um, now we know that she wasn't a speaker, and we glad that the students protest the way they did for their right to protest. And we're going to dive a little more deeper into her about the lies that she has spoken about concerning this issue. Also, we are going to talk a little bit more about her policies, and her policies itself will link directly to John C. Calhoun. So you want to stay tuned so you can be informed, so you can gain some interest, so you can get involved and be inspired as she's going to attempt to run for the governor office seat. And after this presentation, you may conclude that she is not even worthy of that seat because of her ideology and policies that is direct related to not just black and brown people, but poor people itself in the state of South Carolina will be at a very severe disadvantage if she is elected as governor as South Carolina. And we're gonna come back and scream on this later on about how she got a boost in the poll because of the South Carolina students rejected her commencement. That tells you within itself where some of the minds of South Carolinians are at. If she got a boost in the poll for being negative and derogatory, not understanding about the discourse and the freedom of speech and the ability to have people come speak to them on a commencement service that will help them port launch them into the future with some hope and inspiration. So as we move forward, Miss Everett has stated on the 29th, while I was at the White House today, I heard about what happened on the campus of South Carolina State University. Let me be clear. The facts trump feelings in the real world. President Trump and the conservatives have done more for HBCUs than any administration in history. I must be doing something right because the woke mobs are coming after me for being a champion of eliminating racial DEI scams on college campus. So bring it on. Just like President Trump, I will never back down, bending knee to the woke radicals. I am ending DEI on campuses once and for all. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot more to say about this later. In the meantime, I look forward to celebrating the commencement with the students and faculty of SC State. And she never get the chance to do that. So let's go into and let's unravel all of that what she said. Let's unpack some of the stuff. Let us fact check her statement because a lot of people let this part go by. As I was listening to, many people have responding to her comments about SC State. First check, she said President Trump and the conservatives had done more for HBCUs than any administration in history. So let us fact check her and find out. Okay, she said that President Trump and the conservatives had done more HBC than any administration in history. Okay. President Clinton not clearly tracked and expanded student aid. Let me see, George Bush Jr., there was no record setting, but maintained the programs. Clinton expanded student aid, and I know that was the fact when I went to college. Obama had 4.4 billion plus increase in aid and reforms. Trump made it permanently 255 million a year permanent, plus other funds made funding permanent for future act. He cut it. And now under Biden, that's under Trump first term, and under Biden made 16 to 17 billion, the largest total investment overall. So Lieutenant Governor Pamela Everett lied. Why would you vote for a person who carry on the same spirit, mindset, soul, which means intention, motives, and agenda as our sitting president who lies every day? Why would she want to represent South Carolina as governor? Why would she want to govern people that she know intentionally that she is going to lie to? Let's fact her, check her statement. Check number two. I must be doing something right because the woke mobs are coming after me for being a champion of eliminating racial DEI scams on college campuses. Like that's something to be proud of. And we're going to understand what DEI actually means. How can you be governor when you are calling students woke mob? This is a dog whistle. The dog is barking. Why and how? This is why you see her in the picture here, standing with those that are from the American Heritage Association that endorse her over the weekend and to join them on April the 20th. Ironically, they endorsed her on April the 20th, standing behind a statue of John C. Calhoun in Charleston. And this statue is supposed to have been not even put back up there after the Charleston Nine. They went back and reinstated. This is why she can say these things about black students on a black college campus protesting peacefully woke mobs because she is being supported by American Heritage Association, which is a racist group. The event reaffirmed her strong commitment of protecting our monuments and resistance to racial left efforts to erase our history. What history? They talk about race and history. All the governors that are Republican want to erase history, want to, especially the one down there in Florida, says DeSantis. don't want people to learn history, take books out, eliminate books, talk about erasing history. You don't even want nobody to talk about the real history of South Carolina, the real history of the Black experience in America. And you talking about somebody not erased in Harris. No, we need those statues to be in museums. And we need to label these people as such or who they are. So let's take a little further and understanding the dog whistle. Who is John C. Calhoun? John C. Calhoun in 1782 through 1850 was a prominent American statesman and political theorist from South Carolina, best known for his strong defense of states' rights and slavery. This is who you support. This is who you stand in front of the statue with. This is who you proudly defend and heritage of state rights and slavery. For those who don't realize that means have the right to do what they want with their citizens. And particularly if you are Black and brown, that means discrimination, that means lynching, that means murder, that means rape, and so forth and so on. So let us be clear where she stand at. Again, look at the statue, John C. Calhoun. Now you know what he stands for. His major idea and belief. Calhoun argued that the states had the authority to notify and ignore federal law they deem constitutional. When they are talking about all return back to the states, let the states have its rights. It's funny when it come down discrimination, when it come down to women choice, and it come down to LGBTQ community, when it come down to minimum wage, y'all let the states have its rights. Let the states deal with it. But when it come down to a state who that as in terms of Virginia, who have put on the ballot to go ahead and extend um the barriers of elect who they want against the defense of the gerrymandered districts in Texas, how they go ahead and eliminate certain areas for Black or brown people to vote in. But now when Virginia put it on this on the ballot to be voted on, all of a sudden now it's a problem, and the Supreme Court of Virginia, after the people overwhelmingly voted for the Supreme Court of Virginia, say no. See, you can't have it both ways. When it's okay to discriminate in one side, but when you do go through the right channels and the right procedures in the process, now you saying no. This is the doctrine that this woman want to support. She wants to support this stuff. Notifying the doctrine, notification doctrine. He developed the idea of union was a compact among states, not a single national entity. A doctrine that believes that states can override federal law. In the defense of slavery, and he said he controversially called slavery a positive good, making him one of his most intellectual, outspoken defenders of slavery. And this is who she support. This is who she believe. Let's go a little further because you're going to see some shocking evidence. How can you be governor when you calling students woke mob? Look at these students at South Carolina State on this picture. They are sitting down. Let me blow this up so everybody can see. Look, they sitting down peacefully. They marching peacefully. I think she got it confused with a woke mob is. Maybe she need to look at this January 6th people. Look at all of these people climbing walls, going through the Hall of Congress, fighting the Capitol Police and all that. Uh, you can't be that confused. You can't be that blind. So you calling the January 6th peacefully people, and you calling the people that's sitting down and walking peacefully woke mobs? See, this is the problem. They want to make you believe what reality ain't. Reality of the situation, the interaction It's the woke mob. It's those on January 6th. The rally of the situation, those that are protesting by the freedom of speech and having a right to, and doing it in a peaceful, orderly fashion, it should be shown across every TV station in the United States and the entire world how the South Carolina students, HBCU American college is supposed to protest and supposed to act in a civil society. On this other side with these woke mobs from these insurrectionists, this is how you're not supposed to act. But yet they need to be in jail and prison. But the president of the United States go ahead and blanket them with a pardon. But this is who she wants support. I submit to you, she may not be the candidate for South Carolina to be our governor. In my book, she shouldn't even be running. That alone should disavow her for even getting one vote. That alone should just say, "Oh no, we're not going to believe that. We live in a democracy. We live in the right to pursue freedom, freedom of speech, pursuit of happiness." So let us continue to fact check her statement. I must be doing something right because the woke mobs are coming after me for being a champion of eliminating radical DEI scams on campus. Okay, let's go back now. Let's compare her platform. Look at her platform with along with John C. Calhoun, a known segregationist and a racist. Look at her. She agreed with that strong federal government, opposed. She general form limited government. She agreed. They agree. State rights, strong support of state rights. Support of state authority within federal system. Oh, she agree again. Now the states have a right to do what they want to do to its citizens. She is okay with it. All right. She protect terrorists and trade oppose terrorists for favorite industry. She in favor general supporter pro business and trade friendly policy. Other words, she want businesses to come to South Carolina, but yet we ain't gonna charge them a whole lot of taxes now. We gonna make it easy for them to come and set up their business. Okay, again, we go back. Size of government want strong states sojourning or control, weak federal province support, smaller government, and again, they all agree. And slavery, she defends slavery. I mean, and John C. Calhoun is defender of slavery as a positive good. She opposed slavery, but modern constitutional legal position, whatever that means, to even though she's in disagreement on this one, but as far as I believe that she in agreement because she want to defund now the only 8 state supported HBCU in South Carolina. So again, she is of the same scope. Look what it's a civil rights equality support system preserving racial hierarchy, which means if I'm white, I'm above the black and brown people. That's what John C. Calhoun stated. But look what she said. She support equal rights under the modern law. Really? You support equal rights under the modern law, but yet you calling for them to go ahead and gerrymander districts? Really? Come on, Pamela. I know you drinking some strong juice. Okay. Then economic system is agricultural, plantation based. Um, Other words, Lieutenant support the business friendly, modern capitalism economic. Yes, they all agree to that. Yeah, bring all the plants here. We can work our citizens 12 hours or whatever how we want. They ain't got it, they don't need to pursue education to work in the plant. They ain't need to pursue nothing to work on no farm or no plantation. Same idea. Infrastructure development support national improvements early in his career at John C. Calhoun. Support infrastructure investment, economic growth. At least that one good thing out of all of that, I believe in the infrastructure in the rural area and in the area need to be improved and continue to be improved. That is a good thing, but she still cannot get my vote, in my opinion. Political union, she is a conditional, this was John C. Calhoun, conditional support union over its states, retain sojourning, support strong national union within the federal system. I want to know this here that they I want to know what do she actually support as far as national unity, where you can't even respect the right of a HBCU student peacefully protesting. You can't even respect that right. What are you talking about? Federal enforcement laws. John C. Calhoun said he opposed federal oversight over states. She says she supports federal law enforcement within the Constitution, along within the Constitution. And if you believe that, then you shouldn't be kicking against the students who peacefully protest at South Carolina State University. If you believe that, the Constitution, if you believe it, you wouldn't be trying to defund the school. If you believe that, you understand that your ideology is a conflict with their ideology. That's why they denounce you as being the commencement speaker. How can you speak to people and help them be better, help them look forward to a new future, a new chapter in their life? That's what commencement means. A chapter in their life had ended, and a chapter in their life now begins. That's what the commencement speech is supposed to be about. How can you look in their eyes and they look in yours, and we know it didn't happen, and give them something positive and something to live off of, and you is discriminating against them, calling them woke mobs. So let us fact check her statement some more. Check number 4. Woke mobs are coming after me for being a champion of eliminating racial DEI. Scams on college campus, really? Let's go ahead. The big picture about DEI being a champion, eliminate racial DEI scams, diversity, equality. It, I'm just trying to understand why would you want to eliminate DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion. DEI generally tries to improve fairness to opportunities, reduction of bias, more balanced representation in leadership and industry, evaluation standards. Where DEI is seen as an advantage, open doors and system where access was historically unequal. You are a female in America. You couldn't even vote one time. And you up there kicking DEI, and DEI had helped you. You was considered as a second class citizen even in your own culture. But yet you kicking DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion, where DEI says open doors in a system where access was historically unequal, improves transparency and hiring promotion. And you should know that women are likely less paid less than men are. You should know that as a business person. Rejection reliance on who you are. Other words, you know certain job wasn't even available for you as a woman. Expand opportunity and pipeline for underrepresented group, including women of all races. See, again, you knocking something that's going to help you. You got to be sick. You got to be delusional. This is diabolical. This is not just a natural ignorance. This is a spiritual ignorance. Look at the disadvantage of DEI is criticized or seen as a disadvantage. Poor implement programs can feel unfair or unclear. We're ready. It's okay to have bathrooms on the door that say white only and bathrooms say black only. Drinking faucets say white only, and drinking faucets say black only. Because if you support John C. Calhoun, that's what you prescribing to. Unfair practices. It's okay to discriminate against others. Now they're not discriminating against you, but they will discriminate against you because that's what they will disallow women. You going against your own natural makeup as a woman. Can create perception ideas, tokenism, or quotes. Other words, we're gonna have favoritism for people. The disadvantage of DI sometimes increase workplace tension if not communicated well. Other words, it's gonna be a problem because some people gonna get more than others. Some people gonna be excluded than others. May shift focus on pure subject merit to structured fairness system. Ooh, it wouldn't be for African Americans or brown people or women. This is the picture of trying to create a what you call a male dominant white society again. That is what white supremacy, that is what the white nationalists all about. And she prescribing to that ideology as a woman that I do not like DEI. I don't understand it. Here's Pamela Evette position and record as a lieutenant governor. Her ideology, she is a strong Republican and a conservative platform. She served under Henry, currently under Governor Henry McMaster. She support tough. She support tough on crime policy and strong law enforcement. Yeah, I wonder who communities that you are going to go in and enforce laws. Because we know you believe in that immigration mess that going on, snatching people out of children out of mothers and father arms, separating families. Who are you going to plan to enforce? Are you going in the white community and enforce laws? Okay, support school choice vouchers alternative to public school. I do not like school choice vouchers because all you doing taking the money from public education and sending it over there. That school choice is a crop. What it is when we finally integrated schools, the reactionary tool to integration was to develop private schools. Okay, so we developed private schools as a reactionary tool against integration of schools. Now that ain't good enough. Now the private schools are people that send their children to private school saying we want the money from the public schools so we can have school choice to send our children wherever, but you want to use public funds. But yet you want to go to the private school because you didn't want your children to be with other children. You didn't want your children to learn about to go to school with other children, learn to discern, get the same education, but learn how to work with and be around and learn how to be around other cultures. But that's why you put them in private schools. She pro business, low taxes, low regulation. Other words, we ain't gonna tax the businesses a whole lot, but yet we will put all kind of stuff on the citizens. Report restriction on transgender participation in sports and conservative cultural position. Here we go again. This was she discriminate. They ain't want transgender, don't want LBQP. You don't want those want people who say that they believe in alternative lifestyle. to be. You want to strip everything from them. Discrimination again. Just as personally, I don't prescribe to that activity, but I'm not going to support discriminate against people. That's their choice. In America, you have a freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You can be who you want to be. That's your choice. And this really gets me. She support abortion restriction, align with the GOP. As a woman, you support this? Really? See, this is my problem with some of these so-called conservative women. Y'all wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris as president. Y'all wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton as president because they're on the Democrat clearly because they support everybody, no matter who they are, black, white, race, black, white, brown, um, um, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever. They support everybody. They want everybody to be a part of the American experiment. But yet, at the same time, you as a woman going against your own self, that don't make sense. Support stricter immigration enforcement, support alignment with Donald Trump style conservative agenda. As you see that, if she support Donald Trump, that means more high gas prices, more high grocery prices, and et cetera, et cetera. Failed policies. Prefer limited government and deregulation. Yeah, you don't want you. Other words, okay, we're not going to regulate on how people prepare food. We're not going to regulate. We don't want to regulate on science about cancer and things that cause cancer. No, we just want no regulation. Environmental. Don't want to test ground. Don't want to test what they put in the waters and system and stuff because we know historically those roads and bridges and streets and interstates historically go through black and brown or poor communities. We put plants in poor communities that would affect systems of water systems within the ground that potentially will cause cancer and all this other stuff. But no, you ain't want no regulation. You just want your own people that you want to scribe, that you want to be governor over to be sick and die. Really? Something wrong with you. In the government, Pamela Evette is no longer the the speaker at South Carolina State, and that is a good thing. I'm so happy that happened. I'm so happy that she didn't have the opportunity to come up there and spew all that ignorance because it would have been nothing but ignorance. It ain't about nobody having blending ideas of having the right to speak your. That wasn't the time to speak about your ideas. That wasn't the time to have no platform to talk about your beliefs. No, that's what you don't do at graduation. You do that as a political forum. You do that as on a debate somewhere. That's when you do all those things. That you don't do that as a commencement. So this is Travel for the People. I'm thankful for the students at South Carolina State University peacefully protest and won. But the battle is not over. June the 9th, 2026, we got to prepare ourselves to go to the polls. If we go to the polls, we have an opportunity in South Carolina to upset a lot of Republicans who support the failed policies of the Trump administration that cause us to be at odds with one another. We have an opportunity to unite at the poll as a people, not as a Republican or a Democrat, to send some of these people who have the wrong idea about what America's supposed to be and what America can be. Here's an opportunity for us to send them to the home and get them out of there because they don't need to be there. Because if they're not supporting what America supposed to believe in, what America is supposed to uphold their ideas and valuables and principles, we don't need people there. Other words, they're there to serve their own interests, of serve the interests of the puppet master, Donald Trump. Until our next episode, Travis for the People, we are here to talk about real change, real solution, and real results. Stay tuned for our next episode. May God bless you.